When I was 6 years old, I had that harrowing experience of being the new kid at school for the first time. It was the start of first grade, and all the other kids had gone to kindergarten together, but I was brand new in a much larger school. As a student teacher, I've seen my share of new kids, and they all have that same deer in the headlights style look. And even I, armed with 6-year-old fearlessness, a color block Hello Kitty lunchbox, and a little brown stuffed dog whose name I can't remember anymore, still had that look, at least on the inside. My memories from those first few days just come in flashes. The red rubber floor of the gym, trying to find someone to talk to, the neon colors of my teacher's chart markers, and going into my favorite special area class for the first time, music. I only remember walking in and being in awe of the giant music room at my new school. But my teacher is still a dear friend, and she recalls the moment to me she first heard my voice often. She was singing a good morning song to our class because it was our very first meeting of the year. And all of a sudden, I sang back to her. And in a moment, a passion was born and fueled. It turns out that that teacher conducted a community children's choir on Tuesday nights. She asked me to join, and there were the next 6 years of my life. I remember going in and asking my mom in the car, "Do you think I'll know anybody here from school?" And I did, but only one person. The rest of the room was filled with strangers, but not for long. Within just 1 hour, I formed many friendships, many of which would be lifelong and continue to this day. Now let's fast forward a little bit. Now I'm 14, it's my first day of high school. I'm not the new kid anymore, but aren't we all kind of the new kid on the first day of 9th grade? I still have that same look as I walk into school, but luckily for me, choir is my second class of the day. I remember walking in and immediately feeling safe and at home. I sat next to a girl I had never seen before in my life. We didn't talk for a whole week, but when we finally did decide to start chatting, it was like we'd been friends the whole time. Like we were just picking right back up where the music left off. And to this day, she is my best friend. I could stand here and tell you 15 years worth of similar stories from my time in choir. But instead, I would like to begin with a demonstration of what I like to call the choral connection. I hope everybody remembered your music. Actually, the choral connection begins before music, before rhythm, before pitch, before words. It begins at the root of singing, at breath. So we are simply going to breathe together. I'm going to count to 4 times. The first time you'll breathe in, the second time you'll breathe out, then we'll repeat it. It works best if you just don't think about it and focus on your breath. So on my count, ready? In, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4. Again, in, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4. That wasn't so bad, right? Now, would you believe me if I told you that for those 16 counts, your hearts all beat in sync? When I first heard that, I did not believe it, but it's true. It's science. Recently, I got curious, and I found out that a Swedish musicologist named Björn Wickhoff also got curious in 2013. He gathered a choir of 15, 18-year-old Swedish singers. He had them sing a hymn and a mantra together in just some different pitches. And the results of his study were astonishingly apparent. In fact, their hearts did beat together. Their heart's rates started to regulate and fluctuate at the same patterns. But the most fascinating part of this study is that the results took almost no time to show up. Their hearts were beating in sync after singing together for just a short time. How many of you can say that in your organization, your hearts started beating together within 5 minutes of meeting each other? I can. This kind of connection is not only beneficial in a social context, though. It's actually beneficial for physical health. This phenomenon is caused by a body process called respiratory sinus arrhythmia, or RSA. It's caused by the interplay between the heart and respiratory system that happens when you're singing. This process has a, quote, biologically soothing effect and is beneficial for cardiovascular function. However, the cardiovascular system is not the only body system affected by singing. In fact, almost every body process is positively impacted when we sing together. The musculoskeletal system is impacted when we stand for those long-haul concerts and use our diaphragm, which is like choir singing 101. The lymphatic system is impacted because singing provides an immune boost, which is especially needed nowadays. But perhaps the body system that is most affected is the nervous system, where the brain is. Not only does singing release neurotransmitters that promote pain management and help sharpen memory, it is also very beneficial for mental health. I would like to note that this information is not intended to be mental health advice, but rather the results of studies and science relevant to the topic. Studies have shown that singing together helps to address the various mental health problems addressed at each stage of life. So for children, it helps them build their self-concept and self-confidence. It helps them to have somewhere to belong and be part of. It helps adults like me and maybe you who struggle with stress and anxiety from time to time. It provides a general mood boost for us. But perhaps the group most impacted is senior citizens. A big mental health concern with senior citizens is loneliness and depression. And numerous studies have shown that singing in choir, both the physical aspect and the social connection, helps senior citizens to combat these negative effects of being isolated sometimes. It's amazing how something as simple as singing together has applications in every area of our lives. One of the most important and exciting to me as an aspiring educator is how singing in choir helps students in their academic endeavors. Did you know that students who sing in choir have higher math and English language arts scores than students who don't? If you think about it, music is both mathematical and expressive in nature. But even if you're not using sheet music, singing still has applications in both math and language arts, and really all of the core subjects. In addition to this, singing helps students build academic skills they can use in any discipline, in college, in career, in school, and in life, such as discipline, self-confidence, creativity, and memory skills. This also translates into workplaces. Adults and employees who sing together have increased camaraderie and innovation. Many companies have actually, in recent years, began to start employee choirs for their employees' benefit. Notable companies include Google and Boeing, but really, there's so many countries across the United States, so many companies, that have this as part of their work and their human resources. In fact, in the city of Cincinnati, there are so many employee choirs that the city holds an event every year called Cincy Sings, where they all compete against each other, and you'd be surprised how much a little friendly competition really amps up productivity. I could never stand up here and list all of the benefits that singing together has, but I can tell you what is, in my opinion, the most important. The most important benefit of singing together is having a place where everyone can belong. I know from the outside, singing and music can seem exclusive. I mean, sometimes it feels like it's based around natural talents. There's intimidating auditions, there's selective ensembles. But singing is human. Singing evolved before language. We've always done it, and we've always done it together. I would like to share one last story of one of my experience in the ETSU choirs to illustrate how this connection has worked in my life and in the lives of other students here at ETSU. It was the end of 2020. It was probably the first November, December of my whole life, at least since I was 6, that I wasn't performing in a Christmas concert. The best we had was a recording day in the Martin Center, and I was with the ETSU chorale. It was going okay. We were all getting kind of tired. It was almost time to go home, but we had one more song to record. It was a choral piece entitled The Awakening, composed by Joseph M. Martin. And the words in the piece detail a narrator having a dream where he goes to sleep, and all of a sudden, there's no music, there's no song, there's no sound, it's just silence. And as we were singing those words, I could feel that I wasn't the only one beginning to have tears in my eyes. I could feel that everybody else in the room was feeling that pain along with me, even people I had never spoken to before and probably haven't spoken to since. In the latter part of this song, the narrator awakens with joyful song, And in that part, I felt it the most, tears falling into my mask. I could tell that I wasn't the only one. We were all sharing in the joy of the awakening, both in the song and in our lives, because after that, things picked up and we got to sing together again, and we just had the most magical time. The magic of singing together lies in this connection. Without the connection, we don't have the RSA, we don't have the neurotransmitters, we don't have the academic success, we don't have the productivity. All we have is just music by itself. When we sing together, that's where it is. So yes, singing is good for our hearts. It's good for our brains, it's good for our lungs, it's good for our schools and our workplaces, our communities, and even our world. But singing and singing together is best for our souls. Thank you.